Opposition is furious over centre's latest social media move. Uddhav Sena MP Priyanka Chaturvedi slammed the IT ministry's fresh move, which it had notified yesterday. In a tweet, she said, silencing the opposition and opposing voices is now complete. Made broadcast and print media toothless, now social media platforms will be made defunct. Now remember, centre's new rule will give powers to the Press Information Bureau to fact check fake or false or misleading information about the centre, and thereafter social media platforms including Facebook, Twitter and Google can be asked to take down the content. MOSIT Rajeev Chandrasekhar, however, had stated earlier that the government does not intend to curb free speech or control media with this move.
They are afraid of voices of dissent, they are afraid of questions, they are afraid of anybody who can corner them with their questions, with their facts. So the new rules are on online platforms where PIB will decide what is fake and what is not fake. I am sure you people and all of us put together will show the kind of resilience that we have in our democracy.
The Times Network spoke exclusively to Minister of State for Information and Technology, Rajeev Chandrasekhar. He decoded the move by centre and also answered on questions marks raised over his decision. Listen in.
Rajeev ji, thank you so much for speaking to Times Now. If you could please decode this new rule and the fact-check unit that has been formed to keep a check on the information, the misinformation, in fact, that would be put out on the social media.
So first of all, let me just correct you. We have not, in the rules that have been notified yesterday, there is no reference to PIB, fact-check unit at all. What the rules say is that there will be notified by the ministry an organization that will do the fact-checking on all government content and government information. I just want to take you back to October 2022 when we notified the IT rules then, and there were 9 types of content under Rule 3, Rule 31B, which basically were areas that the social media platforms and intermediaries had to do due diligence if they were to continue to be treated as Section 79 safe harbor immune intermediaries. And those 9 included child sexual abuse material, religious incitement and misinformation and patently false information as one of the areas where social media intermediaries needed to do more due diligence and take more care. It is to help that process in the context of government information, because we certainly know today that misinformation, patently false information is a deliberate strategy being used by many of our country's enemies, many vested interests in this country, that are to deliberately create chaos and confusion about the government and or about other things related to the government on the internet. Our mission is to make sure that the internet is safe and trusted by all 100 crore Nagriks, digital Nagriks. And for that, we have said we will create, to help with fact checking for the intermediaries, an entity that will have access to government information, because no private entity can ever have access to government information. That has to be a government entity that will be a credible entity that will be very, very transparent in how it flags these fake information and misinformation. And once the fact-checking unit flags it, it is up to the social media intermediaries to either take it down or take it down. But if they don't take it down, then the only consequence that they have is that under Section 79, the safe harbor and the protection against any legal case that they enjoy today falls away, and they will be in a direct legal dispute between the party that is aggrieved and the platform that is carrying the content. So there is no power that is going to be exercised by the fact-checking unit in terms of takedown of content. It is simply about flagging what is misinformation and patently false information.
Rajeev ji, certainly have explained and decoded this new rule, but if you could please clarify that it will be a PIB unit or a central government unit.
No, there is absolutely nothing in the rules that say it will be PIB. we are going to look at either designing a totally new fact-checking unit or certainly redesigning one of an existing organization that, like I said, passes the tests of credibility, trust, vis-a-vis the intermediaries that are going to use the information and use the findings of that particular organization. So there is no final word on whether it will be a new organization or an existing organization that will be repurposed for the purposes of the fact-checking on government content.
How it will be monitored and what will be the process of monitoring it?
Look, this is a legitimate question, and I think we will certainly make sure that that agency has adequate transparency and reporting requirements on scrutiny and oversight requirements that will make sure that it does not fact check in an erroneous manner.
Rajeev ji, I could just quickly quote the rule that mentions that if the companies refuse to abide by the order of the PIB fact check, they will lose their safe harbor immunity. Now, how would you define the safe harbor immunity and what does it mean?
So I want to correct you again that it is not the PIB fact check. If the companies or the social media intermediaries ignore the fact checking organizations' information on misinformation and patently false information, the only consequence there would be that the immunity that they have under Section 79 of the IT Act against legal cases by those who are aggrieved against the platform will fall away. And therefore, legitimately, if somebody is aggrieved by the platform carrying content, it cannot be anybody's case that they should not be taken to court and the court not decide whether who's right, whether the aggrieved party is right or the platform is right. So I think that is the path that we are going towards, which is to allow those who are aggrieved by the fake information carried by a social media platform to be able to approach the court of law to seek justice. And in the event the social media not want to do that and they want to basically go by the fact-checking unit when they verify that it is correct, that they do exercise their due diligence and enjoy the safe immunity under Section 79.
What is the idea behind this, and do you think that it's a need of the hour?
It is the need of the hour. Misinformation, patently false information, especially for a democracy where we have 100 crore digital Nagriks online. Ours is one of the shining beacons of economic growth and democracies in the world. There are people who are there who are deliberately using misinformation, patently false information to disrupt our economy, to disrupt our government, disrupt our people, sow seeds of confusion and chaos. And therefore, our fight against misinformation and disinformation and patently false information is a real fight. But I also certainly want to assure your viewers that we are a government that in the IT rules have laid down expressly that none of the fundamental rights of our citizens will ever be violated by any social media intermediary. We have expressly put that down as a rule, and we are, in a sense, trustees as a government. Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji's government is committed trustee of our citizens' fundamental rights.
All right, with that, we're taking a short break, but